In a game where the Raptors were fully in it with a chance to win it in a fourth quarter, they completely self-destruct down the stretch and end up losing big time to an injury-depleted Indiana Pacers team. So what went wrong the most? Was it the refs, the coaching, the players? Let's get into it. Welcome to the Raptors Roundup on Amateur Hour Sports. This is the segment on the channel where we go through the Raptors game from the night before. We give you a brief overview of the game, we take you through a synopsis of proceedings, and then we give you 3 takeaways to move on into the future with. But Amateur Hour Sports, the channel where you get NBA content with a focus on the Toronto Raptors at least 4 days a week and get 3 live streams a week. So make sure if it is your first time hearing me today and you like what you see, you want more of myself talking about the Raptors in videos just like this, you hit that subscribe button down below, show your support, and join the movement of the channel. When we hit 2K, we'll be doing a giveaway for the NBA Star members on the channel. So if you want to get involved in that, press the join button down below. But let's get into the video. A bitterly disappointing end to the Raptors game as they were fully within a chance to win this game heading into the fourth quarter. Very tight game, and they just completely implode from within. And sure, they struggled in the second quarter and they made a big comeback in the third quarter, but there was no reason for the Raptors to go down the way they did. It was a winnable game, and it's very frustrating to see those winnable games slip through your fingertips. And Indiana, credit to them, they played well, but the Raptors had enough talent to get this one done. But coaching decisions, a mix of player performances, and sure, a little bit the refs, but blame on the Raptors here for having a very poor fourth quarter and not closing out this game. So let's get into the synopsis of the game. Starting with the first quarter, of course, Kyle Lowry is back for this one. Pascal Siakam is not back for this one, but it's good to see Kyle Lowry back in the lineup, and Norman Powell keeps his starting spot. We start very small against a very big Pacers team. We go with Lowry, Van Vliet, Norm, OG, and Baines. And we start, not fantastically, but Norman Powell and Fred Van Vliet are pretty lively. Norman Powell had a great start to this game. Clearly, Norman Powell is great when he starts. Every time he starts and plays this well, it just gives him more candidacy to get that starting spot off of one of Kyle Lowry or Fred Van Vliet. Despite the good play from those two players, Kyle Lowry is really forcing his way back into the swing of things, and it is not working. He's forcing bad shots. He's going early in the shot clock, not knocking him down, and kind of disrupting our offensive play. And it was, first game back, it's okay. Hopefully he would clean it up later in the game. Ended up not really having a great game at all. Ended up being pretty poor, to be honest. But kept on forcing shots. Wasn't really happy with the way he was playing, but the Raptors were still in this game. Aaron Baines had a great first quarter. In fact, had a great first half, was getting points, was hitting threes, getting to the rim, getting stops on the other end, getting rebounds. Fantastic to see Aaron Baines getting progressively better. Week by week, game by game, he is improving, and hopefully this trend continues. It's been going on for 5 games. Can we keep it going? I definitely think so. The defense was struggling a lot more than the Sunday game, but at the end of the first quarter, it is just a 3-point game. Second quarter begins, and Boucher, who has been great all season, has had his struggles over the last few games, and that definitely continued in this one. Got some highlight reel blocks, but on the offensive end, wasn't contributing as normal, was missing some gimme layups, was missing his threes. I think he ended with the game 1 for 5 from 3, so not quite what we're used to seeing from Boucher this season, probably coming back down to earth. But Sabonis goes down with an injury. It was a shame to see him go down. The Raptors, this injury-depleted Pacers team really needed to take advantage. You'd never wish for injuries, but you can only beat what's in front of you. You can only play what's in front of you. The Raptors really needed to be able to win this game, considering the Pacers did not have Sabonis, LeVert, or Warren available for the last 3 quarters of the game. But the Pacers start to heat up. Turner starts getting a lot of points, and Jeremy Lamb has a fantastic game. Another fantastic game for Jeremy Lamb, and the Raptors didn't learn. He kept knocking down his threes, and yet they still were not closing it out and making his life difficult. Jeremy Lamb was getting a lot of clean looks and made the Raptors pay. Fred and Norm kept chugging along, putting up points, and Yuta Watanabe got a lot of minutes this game and was very, very good yet again. I'm very much liking what I'm seeing from Yuta Watanabe. We'll have a full video on Yuta Watanabe tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time if you want to check that out. But in the meantime, we got this one. Yuta was great again. I'd love to see him get more minutes on the clock, but I'd like to see that he's getting more than he has been in recent games. He's definitely making an impact on defense, and he's also a good shooter on the other side. But Raptors continued to struggle with their shooting pretty much. The Pacers were pulling away, ended up getting 70 points in the half, which is pretty abysmal from a Raptors defensive standpoint. You really can't be allowing that much in any game, especially a Raptors team who prides themselves on the defense. It was also very frustrating to see OG Anunoby, after putting up 30 points the day before, wasn't getting the touches he was getting in that game. Like, Lowry was taking away all his touches, which didn't make sense because OG should have been getting Siakam's touches. And OG, who has been fantastic shooting over the last few weeks, for some reason wasn't getting the looks that he got the other day. So a lot of points were left on the table there because OG wasn't getting enough chances. Lowry didn't have a great game and probably could have done with more touches for OG. And sure, you can say stuff about Lowry here, but it's on Nick Nurse to make the call to give OG the ball more often. However, Raps go into halftime down by 10. Lots of game left. In the third quarter, we come out very lively and we start to heat up. And you can really feel the energy building for the Toronto Raptors. Like, they're going to get back in this game. And that's exactly what they did. They slowly chipped away and got right back into the thick of things, made it a close game yet again. The Pacers' insane shooting from the first half really fell off and brought itself back down to earth. Shot about 30% in the third quarter, the Pacers did, which gave the Raptors the opportunity to be right in the mix of this game. Yuta continued to play well, but I don't understand why we didn't see Aaron Baines in the entire second half. Had 9 points in the first half, was playing very well, but was just completely overlooked in the second half, which didn't make sense because Miles Turner was getting a ton of looks on the inside, and we didn't really have an answer to stop him. Kind of frustrating to see Aaron Baines not get the minutes he deserved after playing well again here. But Yuta played great defense, and Fred VanVleet played great defense, and we're in this game. And even Matt Thomas gets himself in the court for like 30 seconds and gets a 4-point play. Did make a mistake on defense, but a 4-point play. I don't know why Matt Thomas isn't getting enough of the minutes that he deserves, especially when the Raptors are in a lot of cold pockets. I feel like he's really one that can swing momentum, and I felt like bringing him in here definitely did that, but we didn't see enough of him, especially when the Raptors were consistently leaking points. Did it really make a difference if Matt Thomas was at the end either? Because the guys on the court are already leaking a ton of points. Why not try to compensate that by putting your sniper on the other end, putting up shots? This whole community, always in my live stream, we're always calling for Matt Thomas to get more minutes on the court, but Nick Nurse, for some reason, has this vendetta, this reluctance to play him in games. We don't understand why. We would like answers, but we do not have them. He came in for a very brief moment and had a 4-point play, and we didn't see him again for the rest of the game. Fourth quarter starts. It's a 1-point game. Basically, you win the quarter, you win the game. But the Raptors completely self-destruct. They no longer can hit any shots. They give away a ton of points on the other end. Jeremy Lamb is cooking. Miles Turner is cooking. The refs were giving the Pacers a lot of opportunities at the line. Like, the free throw numbers were heavily skewed in the Pacers' favor, but the Raptors simply did not come to play in this quarter, and coaching decisions were not up to par. I mean, it didn't help that OG went out to get stitches on his lip early on in the fourth quarter. We didn't see him again until 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, but I really don't understand some of the coaching decisions. I didn't think it was smart for Nick Nurse to bring in DeAndre Bembry. I think we needed more of an offensive threat, especially considering how little scoring the Raptors did in that fourth quarter. And again, we were leaking a ton of points, yet he wouldn't put in Matt Thomas on the other end to compensate that. We are really trying to figure out why Nick Nurse is just refusing to play Matt Thomas. And every time I see him play, I wonder again why he's not playing him, because you can just rely on him to get you a quick 6 points off the bench, hit a couple threes, but for some reason, it doesn't happen. The refs certainly made it difficult, but the Raptors could have overcame that, and they weren't scoring, and the Raptors found themselves still in the game. It was 112-109 with about 3.5 minutes to go in the game. Miles Turner goes in and goes into the paint. Kyle Lowry tries to draw a charge, but Miles Turner hits the layup for an and one call. Now, this was 100% a charge. This should have been an offensive foul, and the Raptors would have had the ball down by 3. One possession game was 3.5 minutes left. But Nick Nurse, who yelled at the refs the entire game, probably did more yelling than coaching, refused to use his challenge here. Miles Turner gets his and one, hits the free throw, and all of a sudden it's a 6-point game. So for no reason at all, Nick Nurse refuses to use his challenge and keep it at a one-possession game despite laying into the refs for the entire game. Does not use his challenge that he is allowed to use to overturn a referee decision. Instead, the Raptors find themselves down by 6 points, and this is where it gets really, really ugly. The Raptors, who only had, I think, 15 points in the entire quarter, could not hit anything. On the other end, could not get a stop, and the frustration started brewing. Kyle Lowry, who shot 2 for 11 in the game, missed a pretty simple floater, and in his disgust of his own performance and frustration, gives Miles Turner an easy foul, and Miles Turner goes to the other end, hits his free throws because they're in the bonus, and Kyle Lowry, a few minutes later, gets ejected for the game for running his mouth. Definitely not what you want to see from the leader of the team. I get the refs weren't great, but the Raptors were even worse. And the Raptors deserve to lose this game for that fourth quarter performance. Kyle Lowry got a technical late on. Nick Nurse got a technical late on. Like I said, Kyle Lowry got ejected. That is not what you want to see. If you're going to lose a game, you lose it professionally. You don't implode and embarrass yourselves like that, because that's what I felt watching that fourth quarter. Completely embarrassed to see the Raptors for those horrible, horrible coaching decisions, for the inability to hit a jump shot on the other end, and the inability to play defense on that side of the court. Ugly, embarrassing fourth quarter. The Raptors deserve to lose, and they get beat bad by an Indiana Pacers team who had Sabonis for only one quarter of the game. Ugly loss, and the Raptors, it's one game. They're 6-2 over the last 8 games. They are definitely on the road to recovery. This is a bit of a bump in the road. Hopefully they can bounce back, but I was very, very frustrated watching the game, and anybody who was in the stream can attest to that fact. Lost my cool, got really upset with Nick Nurse, with Kyle Lowry, and ugly stuff. Raptors deserve to lose this one. So let's get into the 3 takeaways of the game. The first key takeaway is that coaching was not good enough down the stretch. Nick Nurse just straight up got outcoached by Nate Bjorkgren, and Nick Nurse lost his cool. And the fact that he was yelling at the refs constantly about their bad calls, but didn't use a challenge on an obvious charge for Miles Turner, which turned into an and one, would put the Raptors in a bigger hole than they needed to be. I do not understand that decision. Also, the decisions not to use Matt Thomas at all only gave him like 30 seconds to a minute in this game. I didn't think DeAndre Bembry needed to come in the fourth quarter. I also really don't understand why Baines, who had a great first half, did not touch the floor in the second half. Lots of things that confuse me, but nothing confuses me more than Nick Nurse not using his challenge on that Kyle Lowry charge, would turn into a Miles Turner and one. Just no excuse, absolutely no excuse for some of the decisions Nick Nurse made. Sinky takeaway is that you got to lose with dignity and professionalism. You can't just embarrass yourselves with technical after technical, with foul after foul, just giving them free points in the bonus. Embarrassing. It's a horrible look for your franchise. It's a horrible look for your organization. And you especially can't be seeing that from your leader, Kyle Lowry. You have a bad game, you own it, you come back and play better the next game. Kyle Lowry had a bad game, didn't own it, and made the job a lot harder for the Raptors, made the mountain a lot harder to climb. Should have just taken a step back, given OG the ball more, given Norm the ball more, who was having a great game, but you got to look at yourself sometimes and make those decisions that will help your team. The Raptors did not do that here. You got to lose properly. Third key takeaway is that some bench guys need more minutes. Yuta needs more minutes, but more importantly, Matt Thomas needs his time on the court. Nick Nurse is holding him hostage or something, I don't know, because he played like less than a minute but got a 4-point play in that very limited time. There is no answers. There are no answers out there for why he's not playing Thomas. I know his defense sucks. But is it as bad as Nick Nurse is really making it out to be? Is it so bad that you literally cannot play him in games? Like when the Raptors were in the fourth, in a hole, and they couldn't get a stop anyway, would it have made a difference if Matt Thomas was there on defense? I don't think so. And I think it compensates for that by adding in some other points on the offensive end. I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand why he's not playing. I don't understand the coaching decisions that were going on. Very frustrating evening as a Raptors fan. What did you guys make of this game? What do you think was the biggest influence on the Raptors losing? Credit to the Pacers. I didn't really say it enough because I'm talking smack about the Raptors, but the Raptors were awful, but credit to the Pacers for getting this one done. But let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. But that wraps it up for me for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, please like the video. If you like and subscribe to Amateur Hour Sports for more content just like this. We got 4 Raptors videos a week, and we got a ton of live streams. We won't be live streaming on Wednesday, unfortunately, but we'll be back to live stream for the game on Friday. The schedule this week looks like the video you have right now. Another video tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's the Wednesday. A video Friday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, and then the live stream Friday night. I hope to see you guys there for that one. Let's have another good time, and let's try to get the Raptors to bounce back. At the end of the day, believe what I say. If you disagree, that is okay. We'll see you again next time for another video.